The Hardy Boyz were on Ariel Helwani this week, and they spoke about a return to the WWE.
I think we would like maybe one last hurrah with WWE, and that could even be possible while working with TNA too. So, I mean, we'll see. I mean, it would be nice to still have the most limited schedule we could have, which would optimize the amount of time we can spend at home with our families and our kids. But yeah, I mean, everything's kind of up in the air right now, you know, and we both feel good, and I think we're gonna rock and roll as long as we feel like we can do it.
Guy like me needs Punk versus Hardy one more time. Jeff Hardy also discussed what exactly went wrong with his AEW run alongside his brother Matt.
Okay, so then can I ask about the AEW run? You never worked with them.
Yeah.
What the hell happened? What went wrong there?
Yeah. What do you think, Jeff?
Tell us, Jeff.
Honestly, in my personal problems, naturally, getting in trouble with the law. Like, I think I never got a fair chance to, like, redeem myself, like coming back. At least that's how I felt. Then I totally understood why, you know, they didn't want to give me that chance. I was like, oh God, they can't trust me. I'm just a liability. I was telling myself all these terrible things about you know, getting what I got and getting arrested again. And it's just there's so much guilt and shame involved in that. So naturally I beat myself up about it. But I just don't think we ever had a fair chance because of that. So I blame myself all the time.
You see, personally, I feel like it all went wrong when you came down to save your brother, and instead of just running to save him, you said, what the hell?
Wait a minute! Jeffrey Nero Hardy!
This dude was coming to save his brother Matt, but he said, hang on a second. Also, I mentioned earlier this week that it would have been great to see some TNA involvement, specifically in the 4-way tag match at Evolution. Well, via Corey Hayes and Body Slam Net, there have been discussions of having TNA represented next weekend. Please don't be Tessa Blanchard facing off with Charlotte Flair, please don't. If anything, I could see it being TNA's Victoria Crawford, aka Alicia Fox. She was a part of the first one, so only time will tell. Another team that would make all the sense is the Iconics, who are forever one of my favorites. That Billy Kay used to have me creasing back in the day.
No, you're gonna be joking me, cause out there, that was the real joke. That was the real joke.
Also, let's touch on this developing Britt Baker drama, because it's becoming messy. So to recap, a few weeks ago, I discussed how Jonathan Coachman mentioned haphazardly that he had heard a huge name hinted to be Britt Baker that was looking to go to WWE. Sources pointing to her being unhappy in AEW along with not being on TV since November last year. Along with her decaying relationship with AEW, it wasn't so far-fetched to think that she may leave the company for somewhere else. Then, every source that was reached out to vehemently denied that Britt Baker was actively trying to get out of AEW. Those spoken to familiar with Baker's situation said that the idea of her wanting out of AEW or even communicating that to AEW was, quote, news to them, and that they had never heard anything resembling that. Via PW Insider, while there is currently no word on when Britt Baker will return to AEW programming, there have been no discussions about Baker exiting the company, asking for a release, or being close to being contractually free. And finally, it was reported by Fightful Select Britt Baker has well over a year left on her AEW contract, and with the possibility of injury time, there's a chance she could be under contract into 2027. Someone of Britt's talent certainly doesn't deserve to just sit on the sidelines and wait out her contract for the next year and a half, so I hope fences are mended, awkwardness is destroyed, and she's back on TV whenever she's ready. But selfishly, as a wrestling fan, Samoa Joe knows there's many dream matches for her on the other side. Speaking of AEW, last night on Dynamite, Hangman said this:
Give me everything or you give me death, and make this a Texas death match!
It'll now be a Texas death match, Mox versus Hangman at All In, and wow, there's gonna be a lot of blood.
Whoa, Hangman with a fork in his hand, Wheeler Yuta!
Hangman, I'ma be real, you're gonna have to channel your TakeOver NYC Johnny Gargano on this night. And at the end of this segment, Hangman said, you know what? Meanwhile, Mercedes Mone retained the TBS Championship against Mina Shirakawa. Really enjoying the story they're telling with these two, but I worry that it's going to have to end with Mercedes winning it all in and doing the Triple H meme with all the belts, but alas, I'm seated. Mercedes also showed love for Evolution 2 coming up on Instagram Live.
Any thoughts about Evolution 2? I think it's about time. They waited way too long to have an all-women's pay-per-view, but I love and I will always support and be a huge advocate for women's wrestling, so I am excited for that and for the women that get to perform on that.
Respect, Mercedes. Respect. And one final note on Evolution. Saraya, formerly known as Paige, tweeted out, "Evolution is this weekend? Stop trying to act clueless, Saraya. I'm familiar with your game."
What do you mean by that?
This is that whole, I don't know anything about the Total Divas reboot. Liar. Also on Dynamite, MJF will be entering the men's casino gauntlet match at number 2 as him and Mark Briscoe will kick things off. So that should be very interesting.
Second, the salt of the earth. I'm talking that. The salt of the earth with the leg.
Gotta love Mark Briscoe and his MJF has a tiny kosher pickle shirt. Okada defeated Ibushi with a Rainmaker before we'd see the Golden Lovers reunite.
Omega and Ibushi taking out Beretta.
Absolutely beautiful scenes. Also, a powerbomb into a German suplex looks like one of the nastiest bumps you could possibly take. Although maybe not as bad as Okada taking an avalanche Tiger Driver earlier in the match.
On the Continental.
While I'm gushing over the sensational movesets we have in AEW, the Styles Clash into the House Call, also a thing of beauty.
Dralistico may rule the day. The Styles Clash. Another House Call.
For a guy that says he doesn't do Dynamite reviews, it kind of feels like, well anyway. It'll be the Young Bucks against Swerve and Ospreay at All In, and if the Bucks lose, their titles as EVPs are also gone. And if Ospreay and Swerve lose, then they can't challenge for the world title for a year.
Because what do we get out of this?
If you guys accept this match and you beat us at All In, then me and Swerve can't challenge for the world title for 1 year.
Whoa.
Yeah, say goodbye to your EVP titles, Bucks. I wouldn't mind the end of the Succession gimmick anyway for them. I think it's had its time in the sun. There's just no way you can convince me Ospreay isn't winning the world title in London, bro. And look, I know Tony Khan recently said that Wembley will be getting All In again in 2026, which is about a year after this stipulation would be up and done. But for goodness sake, I don't want to wait another year. I'm all for long-term storytelling, but the story has been told. It is time to put the belt on Will Ospreay, fellas. Also, happy birthday to the best there is, the best there was, and the best there ever will be, Bret Hart, who is now 68. He's one away from the number. Also, Idris Elba and John Cena were on Complex this week where they debated the best and worst things. I'm mainly bringing this up because Cena admitted that the best wrestler turned actor is Batista.
GOAT wrestler turned actor. Jeez.
Nice. I'm gonna give respect where respect is earned. Go on, Dave Batista. The dude has range, and is like now has like transformed his whole body. So he's the stuff he's about to do. Look out for Dave Batista. The stuff he's already done is incredible. But as far as like wrestler turned actor with like the range, you know me, I'm just Dick Jones. That's it. Dave's got range.
Also, going back to the Hardys on Ariel Helwani, Jeff Hardy revealed that he was asked to be in the WWE Hall of Fame a couple years ago, but he said not without Matt.
One of you has been asked to go into the WWE Hall of Fame, right? But not as a duo.
Yes, Jeff was.
Jeff.
Yeah.
And why is that? Why do you think you were asked and not Matt?
Because I worked at AEW at the time.
Okay, so but you've been gone now for over a year. Do you think it's coming?
I mean, yeah, we'll definitely do the.
It's
WWE
inevitable.
Hall of Fame one day. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you like for it to be sooner rather than later? Do you care?
I mean, I'm not in a rush.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah.
So they
I
came,
was thinking 2030. I mean, that's
2030. That's your okay. So they came to you and said, "We want to put you in," and you said, "I'm not going in alone."
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was their
It
reaction?
just
when,
felt weird. It didn't feel right at all. So no, it's not time for me to do that. And it just didn't feel right going in without Matt. But yeah, I don't know. It was just that in the moment, man. That's the way I felt.
And how did they receive that? Did they understand?
Okay. Well, Well, good luck.
Okay.
In your future endeavors.
Right.
Mad respect, Jeff, but we all know you're going in twice. You were literally bigger than Obama in 08. That alone deserves another induction.